such a time as this.
And welcome to For Such a Time as This roundtable discussion, a Christian look at Pride Month. Before I go any further, let me welcome my cohorts for tonight, Mr. Ben and Mr. Eric. How are you all doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
If you would be so kind as to give me a thumbs up, let me know we're coming through loud and clear across the country, across the world, dare I say. We are global. Even if it's two people in Africa and one in Europe, we're still global. No, but in all seriousness, we would encourage you to go to Rumble. We would encourage you to go to Spotify. We're on Spotify because YouTube has, in fact, targeted us. They have given us 2 strikes, and they kindly let me know that if I get one more strike, then they are going to remove my station from YouTube. And that's after they went all the way back to September to find something that I wasn't supposed to say. Back in September they did that. So it's only a matter of time. I'm not going to go back and look at all of my videos, because that'll be just too much. So if you would be so kind as to follow us to Rumble, because our days are marked. In the YouTube stream there, I actually gave you the link to Rumble in case you want to save it for us, our time going forward. All right. How should a Christian look at Pride Month? Pride Month is a month that celebrates the rainbow in a worldly sense. And I always found it so ironic that the LGBT movement would adopt the rainbow, the one symbol that reminds them of God's wrath and judgment on the earth. That's amazing to me. Are they that biblically illiterate? They don't know what the rainbow represents? Or are they trying to wrestle what the rainbow means from us Christians? For those of you who needs a little refresher, here is what Pride Month is.
Over the past 50 years, the conversation about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer individuals in the United States has shifted from resilience in the face of intolerance to pride in a culture of acceptance. June is LGBTQ Pride Month in the United States. It is a time when Americans commemorate the 1969 Stonewall Uprising, an event that sparked the modern LGBTQ rights movement and highlights LGBTQ rights as human rights. On June 28, 1969, patrons of the Stonewall Inn who were tired of constant harassment and abuse from police in New York City finally fought back. While accounts of the night vary, the uprising ignited a national firestorm and inspired widespread activism in support of LGBTQ rights. After more than 4 decades of fighting for equal rights, the movement reached a milestone in 2015 when the United States Supreme Court recognized the rights of same-sex couples to marry. Today, Pride Month is celebrated by millions around the world with parades, lectures, parties, workshops, and concerts. It is also a time to honor those LGBTQ individuals who have been lost to crimes motivated by bigotry and advocate for those in the over 70 countries who are still persecuted for who they are, some with the threat of execution. While Pride events occur year-round, Pride Month is an opportunity to celebrate the LGBTQ people who have changed the course of history, to promote visibility of LGBTQ individuals in the fabric of society, and to continue the dialogue about LGBTQ rights as human rights and the struggle for equal rights that continues around the world today.
Although accounts vary. Yep, that's where we're going to hang out, although accounts vary. And the quiet, self-aware, self-patience, all virtuous community was just chilling out at Stonewall in. Oh, boy, boy, boy. I tell you. All right. Let's get into it. This is a picture of Stonewall Inn. President Obama in the second inaugural address on January 21st of 2013 said this. We, quote, "we the people declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still, just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall."
Oh, you included that.
It is now our generation's task to carry on what those pioneers began. Close quote. So here you have President Obama in the second inaugural address. Seneca Falls, wasn't that the Revolutionary War, right? Seneca Falls?
I think that was somewhere in New York.
Well, he quoted is either the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. But he equated Seneca Falls and Selma with Stonewall in his second inaugural address. So, wrote an article. John Lofton wrote an article by he's a WND staff, and this was published all the way back in 2013. The article reads, so what happened? Well, let's start with the inn itself and then move on to these pioneers, quote unquote, what these pioneers did. A story in the Liberal Denver Post on June 27th, 1999 says this inn was a place that operated thanks to payoffs to police and the mafia. A story in the liberal Los Angeles Times on June 26th of 1996 refers to Stonewall as a place that was, quote, a seedy, mafia-controlled hangouts for drag queens, close quote. So anywhere I looked up, it seems as though the mafia controlled this place, as it seems they controlled most gay bars back in the 1960s. Article goes on, and a piece of the liberal Newsday newspaper on June 27th of 1994 says it was the scene of a revolt by people on the fringes of even the gay community, a sleazy mafia bar whose patrons were the queerest, raggediest, grungiest of the gays. It goes on telling us more about what happened or what this bar was like. Here's another picture of this bar. Okay. Article goes on. Duberman also reveals how middle-aged men cruised in Stonewall looking for underage male prostitutes. He quotes one homosexual activist as saying the bar was a haven for so-called quote-unquote chicken hawks, which are adult males who covered underage boys. Another homosexual activist says Stonewall was a real dive, an awful sleazy place set up by the mob for hustlers, chickens to be bought by older men. So they called the younger men chickens and the older men were called chicken hawks. Duberman tells how the doorman at Stonewall was accused of purveying drugs and young flesh there, and how he was involved in taking payoffs from the mafia and New York cops. When the police raided Stonewall about 1:20 a.m. on June 28th of 1969, the bar was full of male whores and drugged and drunken drag queens. A cop shoved one of the patrons, telling her or him, he couldn't tell, to keep moving. She started swinging at a cop. As Doberman tells it, by now the crowd had swelled to a mob, and people were picking up and throwing whatever loose objects they had on hand, coins, bottles, cans, bricks from a nearby construction site. Someone even picked up a dog from the street and threw it in the cops' directions. Cops had to dodge flying glass. One was hit near the eye with a shred of glass, causing blood to spurt out. A beer can bounced off another cop's head, and a man Doberman describes as a wild Puerto Rican queen verbally threatened to rape a male cop he believed to be of Irish ancestry. So this is the Stonewall Inn, people, that they celebrate even today. This is what started the Gay Pride Parade in June. Because this happened, as it said, what was the date again? Happened June 28th, 1969, when the police raided a gay bar that was owned and operated, well, we don't know if it's owned, but it was operated by the mafia as a place where underage boys were given to men, a place where pedophilia was known and practiced every night. This is what President Obama chose to put on the level of Selma and Seneca Falls. Do we know what Seneca Falls? Did we look that up? Did my
Yeah. It was in New York. That was the birthplace, according to what I looked at, for women's rights.
In 1848.
In 1848, women's rights.
This was a little bit before the Civil War.
Okay, so that is what the president chose to put up. Stonewall Inn.
Yeah, I think Obama is a very shady character, and I think this legacy of Stonewall is very, very dangerous. That we're still, our culture is celebrating it. If you're against it, you're considered an infidel.
Yep.
It's very sad.
Yep. It's but this is what started the Gay Pride Month that we're all forced, or no, that's not true. They're trying to force us all into acknowledging, accepting this.
And it's like
This.
it's like they don't even give you a choice. They force it down your throat. Like where I work, it's everywhere. They even had a story I saw on the front page of my company's site of a guy who had a relationship with another man who tested positive for HIV, and he was apparently proud of it that he contracted it and he lived it, but he lived a gay lifestyle, and they celebrate that. That's despicable.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's being forced. You're being forced, and corporations are now forcing people. Here's Tucker Carlson with a little stint.
Space Force depicted an astronaut with a pride flag. They also posted an article about something called queer space. Queer space? Where is queer space? We don't know. Eddie Scary may know. He's the author and columnist of The Federalist. He joins us tonight. What's the queerest part of space, would you say, Eddie?
I don't know. Men are from Mars. Maybe two men are from Mars.
That was really clever. Holy smoke. That was ad-lib, by the way. He didn't know that was coming. That's so good. So what do you, look, I think most Americans are kind of on the sort of, go do your thing, leave me alone program. Why the ceaseless need to beat us over the head with moralizing propaganda on every subject every month of the year?
I think you're right. I think we are at the point as a country, as a society, where everyone just says, you're an adult, do whatever you want, just leave me alone if I don't want to be a part of it. And yet there is still this compulsion among corporate America and so much of the left, which does include corporate America in this country, about proving themselves, virtue signaling, showing how down with the cause they are, despite the fact that this cause is no longer has any real meaning. It no longer has any substance to it. It's become about let's put
you.
But if you're a Christian, it's they guilt trip you and call you a hater and
racist,
even white supremacist or a white nationalist. It's like, where are you even getting this?
Wait.
That's the mentality though. On if you even go on LinkedIn, I mean every the virtual signaling's crazy. That's why I'm no longer on that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what they're doing. They're pushing this. But even worse than all that, guys, it's one thing for corporations to push it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
It is another thing. You've got schools and libraries pushing this. This is... You got Drag Story Hour, NYC, New York City. Showed a student at Tompkins Middle School how to do drag makeup. How is this allowed in the schools? But it is. It most definitely is. And I don't understand why this is not spoken of more in churches and ministries. This is not good at all. Just to add some scripture to the conversation, which is good, Romans 1:18, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. For although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened, claiming to be wise. They became fools. And as you know, Romans 1 actually now goes straight into the homosexual agenda, exchanging the natural use of women for men and vice versa. It does break my heart. I mean, yes, it's wrong. But to do that so brazenly with children, and let me say this: if you go to a church that is not speaking out against this, you need to go to another church.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If your Christian friends aren't speaking out about this, you need to find some new Christian friends. And if you're okay with your church not speaking about it and your friends not speaking about it, then you need to examine yourself.
Yes.
To see if you are in the faith.
And I will say, too, if you're living somewhere where there's no good churches at all, I dare you to leave your city to find a community of believers, because isolation is not good.
Yeah.
And this ideology will destroy you and your community, and it already is. We're already seeing the fruits of it. It's we're just seeing the effect of it now.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
It's been accepted. It's been winked at. And any organization that meets on Sunday morning that flies that flag is not a church.
Oh, absolutely not.
They're an organization that meets on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about, I debated whether or not to do that. I just don't have the heart to do it anymore. I've done videos before in the past speaking about the horrors of these pride parades in which there's full frontal nudity of both men and women.
Yep.
And children are looking at it, and the expression of the children on their faces are contorted, and it's like they're almost turning away as they're holding their parents' hands.
It's natural.
It is natural. It's natural for a 4-year-old kid to look at full frontal nudity of a 60-year-old man,
right,
and to turn away. But the parents.
It's like, what are you doing there?
It is
not entertainment.
It's sick. But how do Christians respond? How do we respond? How should we respond? Here's one such gentleman who took it to the street. Now, if you look at the full video, I'll put it in the description. toward the end, he kind of goes off the rails and starts screaming. But the first part, he's at least trying. And again, I don't know this guy. Please don't send me a video talking about he goes to a cult. He may, I don't know. But I'm just looking at a video. This one guy, he goes to the city council and tells them to their face what it is.
It's nice to be here in front of the first openly gay mayor. Thank you, Mayor, for coming out. This is your month. And, as you know, we forgot about Ukraine. Now we're on to this, guys. We're all gay now. So, happy Mental Illness Month, everyone. And let me start off by saying God's law is perfect. The Bible says in Psalm 19:7, the wicked shall be turned into hell, and the nations that forget God. The reason this country is a complete joke is because it has forgotten God. Sodomites are being celebrated with things like pride parades, drag queen events for kids, such as Drag the Kids to Pride. Why do you want to be around kids so bad? Why do they want to be around kids so bad? Why do they want to teach this stuff in the schools? They put it in TV shows, movies. Why do they want to be around kids? Because they're all pedophiles. Somebody call Chris Hansen and Dateline NBC. Arrest these perverts. You know what the cops were doing at the Drag the Kids to Pride event? They were standing outside protecting the pedophiles. These disgusting, sick predators. If I brought my daughter to a strip club, I would literally be arrested and CPS would take my daughter away. But people can bring their babies and
people can
fair, and they're not bold, and they don't speak out on these issues. So it's very sad. I don't know if you have a take on that, Eric, or from your experience of why we're
Stop being the church. And started being a sanctified institution. There's certain fundamentals about sin. I mean, that is the reason why we come to church, at least the Christian church, and why we, approach the Almighty and we take hold of his love and his characteristics and start being like him. The goal of the church and the goal of those of us in the church is not to take on the world from a different perspective. It's literally to become like Jesus and then represent Jesus to the world. We actually go back to where we came from,
right,
with new clothes.
Exactly.
Okay. What they're saying is come here. It's literal, and I don't know what they think that it's like. Okay, just join this club, and you don't have to change, and you can continue to become like the world is.
Right.
But you're just with us.
Yeah.
There's no fundamental. There is a fundamental change that has to take place, and if you take place, if that takes place, then you literally change.
Right.
And then once you literally change, you're not the same as the world.
Exactly.
And it's just like, this is Christian Life 101. You stop being like the world.
Right.
Yeah. And what's happening is we lost that. No, we didn't. Some lost that somewhere, and they don't realize that they're missing it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't just stand up and just simply say, in the beginning, was the Word, and he made male and female.
Right.
That is diametrically opposed to what they're saying now, saying there's 96 genders or what have you. It's something's wrong somewhere.
Something's seriously wrong.
And again, if we as Christians, it looks like we're back on for some reason. I'm telling you, people, our software is good. I don't know what's going on with this connection, but it seems like we're back now. I don't know what's wrong with people that they can't see what's wrong with this picture here. This was a viral pic that went viral, to where you had two men who decided they wanted to participate in a woman's bicycling race. And the 2 men won, and the third person on number 3, that's a woman. And yet, for somehow, these 2 men, when they got up to accept their quote-unquote award, why are they kissing each other? I don't get it. It's just, if you can't see, there's something hideously wrong with this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's almost like they're rubbing it in our face, and they're like, you can't do anything about it, and we're going to force you to look at this against your own will, and you can't do anything about it. That's terrible.
Well, first of all, it's false because we can do something about it, and they don't realize it. Secondarily, you've got this silent partner involved here, which is the women. I mean, there are still females that want to be females, proud to be females. Some of them actually want to be females the way God made them. And they are kind of just thrown out there like they don't count.
And so let me just throw this out here. Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis 19 is in there for a reason. You're 19 chapters into the Bible, and Moses, when he sits down and he writes this as God dictates, there's a reason why. There's all this stuff that happened before. There's a reason why it's in there, 19. Jude comes along and explains it a little more. Moses later on explains it even more in Leviticus 18. That homosexuality. Here's the rhetorical question: why does God react so viciously against homosexuality? Answer: it's because it mars the image of God. He created man, male and female. He created them, and so when homosexuals engage in that lifestyle, they engage in that act, you're marring the very image of God. And so, boy, if homosexuality does that, what do you think the embracing of transgenderism does? And again, the reason why I'm not hitting you with a whole bunch of verses, anyone who's read the scriptures, Leviticus 18, Romans 1, Corinthians, there's no debate where homosexuality sits when it comes to scripture. It's forbidden. It's abomination. Okay? If that's the case, and it is, then if the church is not willing to be light of the world, salt of the earth, on this issue that's so clear, what good are we? And any quote-unquote church that flies a rainbow flag, they're not by definition a church. And so the world it's amazing to me the heroes and the monuments that the world props up, like the Stonewall Inn stuff. But I believe it's Matt Walsh. That's the guy you sent me the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Whenever he sits down, and Matt Walsh is not a genius. It ain't hard.
It's not that hard.
It's not hard. I'm not saying the man's not intelligent.
Sure.
I shouldn't say that. I did say he's not a genius. I don't know. He may be a genius. I'm just saying the questions that he poses to these guys, it doesn't take a genius.
It's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to expose the thought process. So I just want you to listen to the mindset. I got 2 more clips, and then we'll let you go for the night. You can go to bed. We got 2 clips. I want to show you the mindset behind the ideology, the thinking that you have to embrace in order to embrace the LGBTQ movement. Here's the first one.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
In reality, in truth, okay?
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No, you're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's frame it, because you're trying
A chicken has sex like any biological
chicken has
organism.
an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
Okay, I heard this. Wait. I got to say this.
We should laugh.
I heard this morning. A baby carrier is different from a woman.
Help me out.
I can't.
Oh, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
When they're assigning.
Okay, Eric, I was looking at you side eye. For people who can't see, I was
No,
looking at
see,
Eric's
I didn't
side
do
eye.
this though. I didn't do this
Eric,
though. Okay.
I hope you.
No.
Okay,
this is crazy.
I got you.
This is crazy, just like what we just saw.
So I made a video this week. We have to stop talking to insane people as though they're sane.
Yeah.
They're insane.
Yeah.
They're flat out insane. Mm-hmm. And we need to stop pretending as though they're sane.
Yeah.
They're insane.
They are.
That woman we saw, I love her and I love her enough to tell her the truth. She's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
She's insane.
Yeah.
Constellation. What the heck did that even
Well,
mean?
it had nothing to do with the conversation.
Constellation. To a sane mind, man, it had nothing to do with the conversation, but I guess the constellation added some clarity in her mind.
He tried to bring her back. Did you see that?
Couldn't do it.
Because when she said constellations, like, okay, that had nothing to do with what I just said.
About? Yeah. But in her mind, it did, and that's the sad part about it. Listen, we don't do people favors. When I used to work on a psychiatric unit, and I used to work with insane people, you weren't supposed to ever feed into their their lunacy,
right?
Because you don't do them any favors.
No.
You know, you don't do. This is mass delusion. These people are insane. You cannot have a rational conversation with that woman.
No.
You can't.
That was your proof right there.
We assume chicken laid eggs. We assume it's a female woman. Oh my goodness. and here's the second part. And it's we laugh because it's almost tragically funny. Ben is holding back laughing. But the second one is, they know. I think there's some part, Ben. Mm-hmm. This is what you sent me to. Ben Simmons is the greatest videos, by the way. There's something in this man. He knows he's insane, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about truth.
He's in denial.
Have you seen this yet, Eric?
I don't think so.
This man, there's something. I don't want to play it twice because it's so monumental. There's something in this man. He knows he's insane.
Yeah.
He knows it.
He must.
Yeah.
Is he celebrating?
I'm not even talking about social context. I'm just trying to start by getting to the truth. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth again in social life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Because it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me. And if you keep probing, we're going to stop the interview.
If I probe about what the truth is,
you keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude. I'm saying to you,
how is the word truth condescending and rude?
Why don't you tell me what your truth is? And you're walking on 30 seconds more of thin ice before I get up.
He openly rejects the whole concept of truth.
Yeah.
Because anti-transphobic. Buddy, you're darn right is anti-transphobic because transphobic is a lie.
Yeah.
So here you have this man who that video is so revealing.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly revealing. They know they're insane.
This is a spirit.
Yes.
Of delusion.
Yes. But they know it, Eric. I think
they're
it.
so deep into it, they think it's the truth.
No, he doesn't like the term. Don't even use the world he lives in. He doesn't want the term.
Guess what? Guess what?
He doesn't want the term.
Guess what? I don't want us to get lost in this. Guess what? There's going to be a day coming when he's not going to be able to use that.
Yeah.
He's going to think he can get away with it by saying he's ignorant. And there's going to be a display on somebody's screen that he can see that he is going to get got.
One of my favorite verses. I use it all the time on the show. We try to keep it simple. We don't try to get a real theological dissertation going, but one of my favorite verses, very simple, John 18:37. Then Pilate said to him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice. When I witness to people, I tell people when they're seeking, I said, listen, I want to meet with you, and I give them proofs or different reasons to believe, and I always end with this. Always follow the truth. For if you follow truth, you'll find Jesus at the end of that road. Always. Always. When you get to a point where you start rationalizing your sin, and now you want to hold on to your sin or make excuses or reasons for your sin, you've left the path of truth. But as long as you follow truth, you'll always keep going in the direction where Jesus is. I always lead it that way. Follow truth. Follow the truth. Here you have a man who tells you flat out he doesn't like the concept because it's revealing. Why does it sound transphobic to him? If the term truth sounds transphobic to him, why does it? Because he knows it's a lie.
He knows it's a lie. And he doesn't even answer right away either. He stays silent and then he answers.
Trying to think. Listen to it again. This is a man who, by his own admission, people, we're not saying it. We're not making it up. His own admission.
He's being exposed.
His own admission. He knows what he's doing is a lie.
Well, I'm not even talking about social context. I'm just trying to start by getting to the truth, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth. Again, in social life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Because it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me. And if you keep probing, we're going to stop the interview.
If I probe about what the truth is?
You keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude. I'm saying to you.
How is the word truth condescending and rude?
Why don't you tell me what your truth is? And you're walking on 30 seconds more of thin ice before I get up.
He exposed himself. He exposed himself. He knows what he's doing is a lie.
Yeah.
He knows it. That is why truth is deeply offensive and transphobic, because he knows transphobia. Because he knows the total trans movement is a lie.
And he has to be like that, or if he's anything else, they'll reprimand him. His movement.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And it doesn't take, again, I'm not saying Matt Walsh is not a genius. I don't know the man at all.
Sure.
But that wasn't hard.
That wasn't very hard.
All you got to do is get them talking, and they will expose themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think you know what I learned when I was young? I can't say young. A young believer. It's keeping a lie straight takes a lot of energy. Man, it is. You get anxious. You gotta wonder what you said the day before. And believe me, when I was like my first year walking with the Lord, you know, I would tell the white lies here and there, you know, because never mind. But I was but it took a lot. It took a lot.
Yeah.
It took a lot. And I was like, man, it takes too much energy to lie.
Yep.
You know, it messes with your mind. Messes with your mind.
I learned two things about lying and the truth. One, the truth is liberating.
Yeah.
It literally is liberating. And then number two is that if you've got to lie about something, the probability is you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Yeah, that's someone who cares about morality, though. You're absolutely right. I also look at lying in a totally different, and not in a totally different way, but a more mature way. And I've said this before: lies are tools of cowards. The fact that if I can't handle the truth, then I'm scared of the truth, then I'm a coward.
Right.
And then I'll start lying.
Right. Exactly.
Lying are tools of cowards. Mm-hmm. And this guy here, he's an immoral coward.
He's immoral and he's a coward.
But I'm glad for the interview. He revealed. Mm-hmm. He revealed.
And he tried to get out of it because he wanted to shut Matt Walsh down. He said he
leave. All right, so thank you all for watching. We're gonna wrap up real quick here. Give us some hope, guys. Give us some hope. Ben, Eric, give us your last word.
Just trust in Jesus and surrender it all to Him, and trust that God has everything together, even though it may not look like it. Don't trust your senses. Trust God.
Yep.
God wins. We've got the book, and we know what happens at the end. Mm-hmm. Now, it might be looking kind of crazy right now, but trust me, God wins at the end, and so do we, because we're on His team. Now, if you're not on the right team, you might need to seriously consider what you're doing and where you're at.
Yeah. And let me be very clear. We love homosexuals. We love people who struggle with transgenderism. Queer, still don't know what that is, but we love you. Bi, you're confused, but we love you. We love you enough to tell you the truth.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We love you enough to tell you the truth.
Yes.
And so we'll never, ever, ever, ever backpedal on that issue. Then Pilate said to him, "So you're a king?" Jesus answered, "You said that I'm a king. For this purpose I was born. For this purpose I've come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice. The truth of the matter is, God will judge one day.
Yeah.
It is not right. It is abomination to engage in sexual acts that are, by definition, perversion in the scriptures. We love you enough to tell you the truth. And if you gotta go further than that, all you gotta do is just look at what the fruits of that lifestyle. They commit suicide at an astronomically high rate. There's a reason for it, because you don't like truth. And you try to live in a self-induced fantasy world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we know this is false because there are people who have testimonies who've come out of the transgender movement, who've become Christians, and they should. It's a demonic deception.
Yeah, it is. Thank you all. God bless. And see you next time. Good night.